The abandoned Millfield textile factory had been Kira's sanctuary for 3 weeks now, its broken windows and rusted machinery providing just enough shelter from the relentless surveillance drones that swept the industrial district nightly. She pressed her back against the cold concrete wall, her pale blue skin flickering as her camouflage abilities wavered between exhaustion and desperation. The natural red waves of her hair, now matted and dull, caught the faint moonlight streaming through a crack in the ceiling. Her stomach cramped with hunger, a sharp reminder that she hadn't eaten in 2 days. The last of her scavenged energy, bars, was long gone, and the nearby dumpsters had yielded nothing but spoiled human food that made her violently ill. She closed her eyes, concentrating on maintaining the illusion of human appearance. But the familiar shimmer of her camouflage flickered and died like a broken light bulb. "I'm dying here," she thought, her native language forming silent words in her mind. The ethereal phrase carried undertones of profound loneliness that no human language could capture. 2 miles away, Maya Santos rubbed her tired eyes and reached for her 4th cup of coffee of the night. The security monitoring station at Vanguard Tech Industries was a fortress of glowing screens, each displaying feeds from dozens of cameras scattered across the warehouse complex and surrounding industrial zone. Most nights the job was mind-numbing, watching empty corridors and parking lots until her shift ended at dawn. But tonight felt different. "Heat signature anomaly in Grid 7C," the computer announced in its monotone voice. Maya leaned forward, studying the thermal imaging display. A bright orange blob pulsed intermittently in what should have been an empty factory building outside their perimeter. "Probably just a homeless person," she muttered. But something nagged at her. The heat signature was too intense, too unusual. Normal human body heat didn't fluctuate like that, and the temperature readings were higher than anything she'd seen before. Maya glanced around the empty security office. Her supervisor wouldn't return from his patrol rounds for another hour, and protocol dictated she should simply log the anomaly and wait for the morning shift to investigate. But curiosity had always been her weakness, the same trait that led her to study xenobiology before the Great Evacuation made such knowledge not just useless but dangerous. She grabbed her flashlight and jacket. "Just a quick look," she whispered to the empty room. The 15-minute walk to the old textile factory gave Maya time to second-guess her decision. The government's warnings about alien stragglers echoed in her mind. Any remaining extraterrestrial presence poses a significant security threat. Citizens are required to report suspicious activity immediately. The penalties for harboring aliens were severe: prison time, complete social exile, and permanent surveillance. But as she approached the factory's main entrance, her scientific training overrode her fear. The heavy metal door hung askew on broken hinges, revealing a cavern of shadows within. Maya activated her flashlight and stepped inside. The beam swept across debris-strewn floors and skeletal machinery until it found her, a figure huddled in the far corner. Definitely not human, despite the flickering attempt at camouflage. Pale blue skin showed through translucent patches of failed disguise, and red hair cascaded like liquid fire over thin shoulders. Kira's head snapped up, her large eyes, definitely not the right shape for human, reflecting the flashlight beam, with an inner luminescence. She scrambled to her feet with fluid grace, raising hands that trembled with exhaustion. "Please," she said, her voice carrying a musical quality that made Maya's chest tighten. "Please don't report me. I won't hurt you." Maya's heart pounded as she took in the alien woman's appearance. This wasn't the monster from government propaganda films. This was someone's daughter, someone's sister, a being who looked as scared and desperate as Maya felt. "You're ethereal," Maya breathed, recognizing the species from her old textbooks. "But you're supposed to be gone. They evacuated everyone." "I was left behind." Kira's camouflage rippled again, showing more blue skin and the intricate silver markings that traced her collarbone. "The riots. We got separated. My transport left without me." Maya stood frozen at the crossroads of duty and compassion, knowing that whatever choice she made in the next moment would change both their lives forever. Maya stared at the alien woman for what felt like an eternity. her mind racing through the implications of what she'd discovered. Every government broadcast, every news report, every warning poster had painted aliens as dangerous infiltrators, but the being before her looked more like a frightened refugee than a threat. "How long have you been hiding here?" Maya asked, lowering her flashlight to avoid blinding Kira. 23 of your days," Kira replied, sinking back against the wall. Her camouflage had completely failed now, revealing the full extent of her otherworldly beauty. The silver markings along her skin seemed to pulse faintly with their own light. "I've been surviving on scraps, water from the broken pipes." Maya's heart clenched. "You're starving." "My body processes nutrition differently than humans. Most of your food makes me sick." Kira's voice was barely a whisper. "I'm not sure how much longer I can maintain even basic functions." The rational part of Maya's mind screamed warnings. Helping an alien was treason, punishable by decades in prison. But looking at Kira's fragile form, she couldn't see a national security threat. She saw someone who needed help. "Stay here," Maya said finally. "I'll be back." She returned to the security station with her mind made up, though her hand shook as she deleted the heat signature anomaly from the system logs. Over the remaining hours of her shift, she researched everything she could about ethereal dietary needs, using her old university access codes to dig through archived xenobiology papers. At dawn, instead of heading home, Maya drove to 3 different grocery stores, carefully purchasing items that wouldn't raise suspicion. Fruits, high and natural, sugars, protein supplements, bottled water, and basic medical supplies. Her savings account took a hit, but guilt drove her forward. Kira was barely conscious when Maya returned, her skin flickering between blue and a sickly pale imitation of human flesh. Maya knelt beside her, offering water first, then small pieces, a fruit that Kira accepted gratefully. "Why are you helping me?" Kira asked after regaining some strength. Maya considered the question. "Because you asked me not to turn you in, and something in your voice. I believed you weren't dangerous." She paused. "Also because leaving you to die would make me complicit in something I couldn't live with." Over the following days, Maya established a routine. She worked her night shifts, maintaining the facade of normalcy, then spent her mornings bringing supplies to Kira and learning about ethereal culture. Kira explained that her people were peaceful researchers and artists, drawn to Earth by humanity's creative expressions. "We came as cultural ambassadors," Kira said one morning, her appearance more stable now that she was properly nourished. "My specialty was studying human music. The complexity of your emotional expressions through sound fascinated us." "What happened to cause the evacuation?" Maya asked, settling beside Kira on the makeshift bed she'd created from donated blankets. Kira's expression darkened. "Fear. Misunderstanding. Some human extremist groups painted us as invaders, claiming we were here to steal resources or corrupt your culture. When tensions escalated, your government decided it was easier to remove us entirely than to address the real issues." Maya felt a familiar anger rise in her chest, the same frustration she'd felt when her xenobiology program was shut down, when scientific curiosity was replaced by paranoid nationalism. "I was separated from my evacuation group during riots in downtown," Kira continued. "Humans were attacking any aliens they could find. I had to use my camouflage to escape, but in the chaos I lost contact with my people. By the time I reached the designated extraction point, the ships were gone." Their conversations revealed the depth of loss both women had experienced. Maya had given up her dreams of interspecies research, while Kira had lost her entire world, literally and figuratively. One evening, as Maya helped Kira practice human mannerisms to improve her disguise, alarms began blaring across the industrial district. Through the factory windows, they watched as government drones swept the area in coordinated patterns, their searchlights cutting through the darkness. "Routine patrol," Maya said, but her voice betrayed her worry. "They've been increasing frequency lately." Kira's camouflage snapped into place instantly, but Maya could see the strain it caused her. Maintaining human appearance for extended periods was exhausting, and the stress was taking its toll. You can't stay here much longer, Maya realized aloud. The drones are getting more sophisticated. Eventually, they'll detect something. Where else can I go? Kira asked, her disguised features unable to hide the desperation in her voice. Maya made another impulsive decision that would further complicate both their lives. My apartment. It's small, but it's off the surveillance grid in the residential sector. You'll be safer there. I can't ask you to take that risk. You're not asking, I'm offering. Maya stood, extending her hand to help Kira up. Besides, I think I'm already in too deep to back out now. As they prepared to leave the factory that had been Kira's refuge, Maya realized she was crossing another line. Bringing Kira home meant their relationship would become something deeper, more personal. She was no longer just helping a stranded alien, she was inviting someone into her life. The journey to Maya's apartment through back alleys and service tunnels felt like an eternity, but they arrived safely as dawn broke over the city. As Kira stepped into Maya's modest living space, her camouflage finally relaxed, revealing her true form in the soft morning light. Thank you, Kira said, her musical voice carrying undertones of gratitude that seemed to resonate in Maya's chest. I know what you're risking for me. Maya looked at this extraordinary being standing in her ordinary apartment and realized her life had become something she never could have imagined. We'll figure this out together, she promised, though she had no idea how. Living together transformed Maya and Kira's relationship from cautious alliance to something deeper and more complex. Maya's one-bedroom apartment became their shared sanctuary, its walls decorated with Kira's attempts to recreate ethereal art. Using human materials, swirling patterns that seem to move when viewed from different angles. Your species creates beauty from sound, Kira explained one evening, sketching musical notes that somehow formed intricate geometric patterns. Mine creates it from light and emotion combined, but both express the same fundamental truth, that consciousness seeks to make meaning from chaos. Maya watched fascinated as Kira demonstrated her people's art form. The alien woman placed her hands on Maya's temples, and suddenly Maya could see music as cascading ribbons of color, each note creating ripples of light that danced behind her closed eyelids. This is how we share experiences, Kira whispered, her touch gentle against Maya's skin. We call it Silthari, the joining of consciousness. When Kira withdrew her hands, Maya felt the loss like a physical ache. That was incredible. I could see Beethoven's Ninth as rivers of gold. And I could feel how the music moves through your emotions, Kira replied, her large eyes reflecting wonder. Humans experience art with such intensity. It's intoxicating. Their intimacy grew gradually, built on shared meals, whispered conversations. In the dark and the trust required for Kira to let her camouflage drop completely in Maya's presence. Maya found herself memorizing the patterns of silver that traced Kira's blue skin, the way her hair caught light like liquid flame, the musical quality of her laughter when Maya shared human comedies that Kira found absurdly delightful. Do you miss your world? Maya asked one night as they lay together on the couch, Kira's head resting on her shoulder. Every moment, Kira admitted. But I'm discovering that home isn't just a place, it's this. Connection, understanding, feeling safe, enough to be completely yourself with another being. Maya turned to look at Kira's face, seeing vulnerability there that made her chest tighten. I've never felt this way about anyone before. Nor have I, Kira confessed. Ethereals form deep bonds, but what we have, it transcends species. Your people have a word for it. Love, Maya whispered. Their first kiss was tentative, a question asked and answered simultaneously. Kira's lips were softer than human lips, and Maya could taste something like starlight and honey. When they parted, Kira's skin was glowing faintly, the silver markings pulsing with gentle light. Is that normal? Maya asked, touching the luminescent patterns. It happens when we experience profound emotional connection, Kira explained, blushing in a way that made her glow brighter. I can't control it. It's beautiful, Maya assured her, tracing the patterns with reverent fingers. You're beautiful. Their physical relationship developed naturally, each touch a discovery, each caress a bridge between worlds. Kira's physiology was similar enough to human that intimacy was possible, but different enough to be wonderfully alien. Her skin conducted emotion as well as touch, creating feedback loops of sensation and feeling that left them both breathless and laughing. But their happiness existed in a bubble of constant tension. Maya's co-worker Jake had begun asking increasingly pointed questions about her behavior. You've been distracted lately, he mentioned during a shift change. Missing inventory reports, showing up with expensive groceries when we all know what they pay us. Everything okay at home? Just tired, Maya deflected, but she caught Jake watching her with calculating eyes. The surveillance was getting worse too. Maya noticed the same government vehicle parked across from her apartment building 3 days in a row. Kira's presence could be detected in dozens of small ways. Higher utility bills, unusual purchasing patterns, even the thermal signature of their apartment running slightly warmer than neighbors. We can't stay here much longer, Maya told Kira after another close call with building maintenance. They're getting suspicious. Then we run, Kira said simply. I won't let you sacrifice your life for me. Where would we go? How would we survive? Kira took Maya's hands, sharing Silthari to communicate something beyond words. Images of other worlds, of ethereal settlements among the stars, of possibilities that existed beyond Earth's borders. There are ways off your planet, Kira explained, when the vision ended. Underground networks, sympathetic humans who help beings like me escape. But the journey is dangerous and there's no guarantee of success. Maya felt the weight of an impossible choice settling on her shoulders. Stay and face inevitable discovery, or risk everything on a desperate escape attempt. But as she looked into Kira's luminous eyes, she realized the choice had already been made weeks ago, when she first decided not to report the strange heat signature in the abandoned factory. Then we find these networks, Maya said. We find a way to get you home. Kira's skin flared with brilliant light, her joy and gratitude creating aurora-like patterns across her features. I love you, Maya Santos. I love you too, Kira of the EOB Ethereals. They held each other as the city buzzed with activity outside their window, two beings from different worlds who had found something worth fighting for in each other's arms, but both knew their time was running out, and that the hardest tests of their relationship lay ahead. That night, as Maya traced the glowing patterns on Kira's skin while she slept, she made a silent promise to do whatever it took to keep this extraordinary love alive, even if it meant leaving her own world behind. Director Victoria Harrison stood before a wall of monitors in the Department of Extraterrestrial Security, her steel-gray eyes scanning heat maps and surveillance data from across the metropolitan area. 6 months after the Great Evacuation, her team had apprehended 47 alien stragglers, but intelligence suggested more remained hidden. Operation Sweep enters Phase 3 today, she announced to her assembled agents. We've identified 17 high-probability zones where remaining extraterrestrials might be hiding. I want full-spectrum sweeps, thermal, electromagnetic, biosignature, analysis. These beings think they can blend in, but their physiology betrays them. Agent Torres raised his hand. What about civilian cooperation? We've been getting tips from concerned citizens. Follow up on everything, Harrison replied. The reward program has proven effective. Citizens are motivated to report unusual behavior, patterns. Across town, Maya was experiencing firsthand how concerned citizens were becoming increasingly vigilant. Jake cornered her as she finished her shift, his expression serious. Maya, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be straight with me. His voice carried the weight of suspicion that had been building for weeks. Are you in some kind of trouble, drugs, gambling? Because I care about you, and whatever it is, I'm fine, Jake. Just dealing with some personal stuff. Personal stuff that requires you to buy medical supplies? Specialized nutrition supplements? Jake's eyes were hard now. I followed you yesterday, Maya. To 3 different stores. That's not normal shopping behavior. Maya's blood ran cold. You followed me? I was worried. But now I'm thinking maybe I should be worried for different reasons. Jake pulled out his phone. There's a government hotline for reporting suspicious activity. They're offering substantial rewards. Jake, please, unless you want to explain what's really going on. Maya's mind raced. She could see the calculation in Jake's eyes, the way he was weighing friendship against the substantial government reward. Give me 24 hours, she said finally. I'll explain everything tomorrow. Jake studied her face, then nodded slowly. 24 hours, Maya. But if you're involved in something illegal... Maya drove home with her hands shaking, knowing their time had just shrunk from weeks to hours. She found Kira practicing human movements in front of their bedroom mirror, her camouflage flickering as she worked to perfect her disguise. We have to leave. Now, Maya announced. My coworker is suspicious. He followed me yesterday. Kira's disguise dropped instantly, revealing her true appearance and the patterns of silver that now pulsed with alarm. How long do we have? Maybe until tomorrow morning if we're lucky. Then we need to contact the underground network tonight. Maya had been researching escape routes for weeks, following breadcrumbs through encrypted forums and coded messages. The underground railroad for stranded aliens was real, but making contact was dangerous. One wrong move could alert government infiltrators. They drove to an internet cafe in the old part of town, where Maya used a prepaid account to access the hidden forums. After hours of careful navigation through layers of encryption, she finally made contact with someone calling themselves Phoenix. Sanctuary available. Pier 47, midnight. Bring nothing electronic. Trust no one who doesn't know the song. The song? Maya asked Kira. It's an ethereal lullaby, Kira explained, humming a melody that seemed to make the air itself shimmer. Only someone who's had contact with my people would know it. They spent their last hours in the apartment memorizing details of each other's faces, knowing they might not survive what came next. Maya packed a small bag with cash, basic supplies, and a single photograph of them together, the only evidence of their love story. At 11:30 p.m. they made their way to the old industrial pier, moving through back alleys and avoiding main streets. The meeting point was the abandoned warehouse that jutted out over the dark water, its broken windows like empty eyes staring into the night. A woman emerged from the shadows, middle-aged, Hispanic, with the weathered look of someone who'd seen too much. Are you looking for stars? She asked. Maya remembered the code phrase. Yes, and the song they sing. Kira stepped forward and hummed the ethereal lullaby, her voice creating harmonics that seemed to echo off the water. The woman's tense posture relaxed. I'm Elena Rodriguez, she said, former cultural attaché, current criminal in the eyes of my own government. We've been helping stranded beings reach extraction points. How many have you saved? Kira asked. 43, so far. You'd be 44 if we can get you to the launch site. Elena's expression was grim. It's not easy. Government forces have been cracking down hard. We lost 2 safe houses last week. As Elena explained the route, a series of hidden stops leading to a remote location where sympathetic aliens operated a clandestine transport, alarms began wailing across the city. Searchlights swept the industrial district and the sound of helicopters filled the air. They're early, Elena cursed. Someone must have tipped them off. Through the warehouse windows, Maya could see government vehicles surrounding the building. Agent Torres's voice boomed through a megaphone. This is the Department of Extraterrestrial Security. The building is surrounded. Exit with your hands. Visible. There's another way out, Elena said, leading them toward the back of the warehouse. Service tunnel that connects to the old subway system. But it's going to be dangerous. As they ran through the tunnel, Maya could hear pursuit behind them. Boots splashing through standing water, radios crackling with coordinates. Kira's camouflage was failing under stress, flickering between human appearance and her true blue skin. They emerged into an abandoned subway station, but government forces were waiting. In the chaos that followed, shouting, bright lights, the crack of energy weapons, Kira was struck by a neural disruptor designed specifically for alien physiology. She collapsed with a scream that harmonized in frequencies human ears couldn't. Fully processed, her camouflage abilities completely shattered. Maya caught her as she fell, seeing burn marks across the silver patterns on Kira's skin. "Run," Kira gasped, her voice weak but urgent. "Leave me." "Never," Maya replied, helping Elena support Kira's weight as they fled deeper into the tunnel system. But as they ran through the darkness, Maya knew their options were running out. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit grew closer, and ahead lay only uncertainty. The woman she loved was injured and unable to hide her alien nature, making them visible targets in a world that had declared war on beings like Kira. The choice Maya had been dreading was rushing toward them faster than she could run from it. Director Harrison's voice crackled through Agent Torres's radio as government forces tightened their net around the tunnel system. All units converge on Grid 23 Alpha. Heat signatures indicate 3 individuals moving northeast through the old transit system. One appears to be injured. Maya supported Kira's weight as they stumbled through the flooded tunnels, Elena leading with a flashlight that cast dancing shadows on moldy walls. Kira's skin was still burning with neural disruptor damage, the silver patterns flickering erratically like damaged circuitry. "How much further?" Maya gasped, her legs aching from carrying half of Kira's weight. 2 more kilometers to the emergency exit," Elena replied, but her voice carried doubt. "If they haven't found it." Kira suddenly stopped, gripping Maya's arm with surprising strength. "I can hear them," she whispered, her enhanced ethereal senses picking up pursuit frequencies beyond human range. "They're close, too close." The sound of boots echoing through the tunnels confirmed Kira's warning. Elena's radio crackled to life. She'd maintained contact with other underground network members who were monitoring government communications. "Phoenix, this is Raven," came the urgent voice. "They found the primary exit. All routes to the launch site are compromised." Elena's face fell. "How long until the next transport?" 72 hours minimum, maybe longer." Maya felt despair crushing down on her chest. 72 hours was impossible. They'd be caught within 6. But then Elena's expression shifted, calculating. "There's another option," she said slowly. "More dangerous, but possible. Director Harrison has been tracking our network, but she's also been trying to make a name for herself. Political ambitions." "What are you saying?" Maya asked. "She wants a high-profile capture. If we give her something bigger than just another stranded alien, she might be willing to negotiate." Elena looked directly at Maya. "You could walk away from this. Clean record, witness protection, maybe even a reward. All you have to do is surrender Kira voluntarily." The words hit Maya like a physical blow. "You want me to betray her?" "I want you to consider that there might be a way to save both your lives," Elena replied. "Harrison needs political victories. One cooperative alien who provides intelligence about remaining stragglers could be worth more than another corpse." Kira's grip on Maya's arm tightened. Through their shared connection, Maya could feel Kira's pain. Not just physical, but the deep ache of someone preparing to be abandoned again. "No," Maya said firmly. "We find another way." But their options evaporated as searchlights flooded the tunnel behind them. Agent Torres's voice echoed off the walls. "We know you're here. Make this easy on yourselves." Elena grabbed both women, pulling them into a side passage barely wide enough for their bodies. "Emergency access to the old pneumatic system," she whispered. "It'll take us directly under the launch site, but it's a one-way trip. Once we're in, there's no going back." They squeezed through the narrow opening just as government forces reached their position. The pneumatic tube was a relic from the city's industrial past, a system once used to transport materials rapidly across the underground network. Now it served as a desperate escape route. The journey through the tubes was claustrophobic and terrifying. They crawled through darkness, following Elena's lead toward a destination that might not even exist anymore. Kira's condition was deteriorating. The neural disruptor damage was spreading, causing cascading failures in her biological systems. "Maya," Kira whispered during a rest stop, her voice barely audible. "If we don't make it—" "We will," Maya interrupted. "Listen to me. Kira placed her hand against Maya's cheek, sharing one last Silthari, a burst of memory and emotion that contained everything she couldn't say aloud. Love, gratitude, the bittersweet joy of having found connection across the vast loneliness of space. You gave me something I thought I'd lost forever. Hope. They emerged from the pneumatic system into an underground chamber beneath what had once been a private airfield. Elena's network had been using it as a launching point for refugee transports, modified ships that could slip past orbital defenses during narrow windows of opportunity. But the chamber was empty, except for a single figure. Director Harrison, herself, flanked by a squad of heavily armed agents. Elena Rodriguez, Harrison said calmly. We've been monitoring your little network for months. Did you really think we hadn't found your final hideout? Elena stepped forward, shielding Maya and Kira. Director, I have a proposition. I'm listening. Full amnesty for Maya Santos. She's a civilian who got caught up in something beyond her understanding. In exchange, we provide intelligence on the remaining underground networks. Harrison's cold eyes shifted to Maya. Ms. Santos, you've caused us considerable trouble, but Ms. Rodriguez is correct. You're not the real threat. Here, she gestured toward Kira, who was barely able to stand. Surrender the alien and you walk away with a clean record and enough money to start fresh anywhere you want. Maya felt the weight of the choice pressing down on her. Everything she'd ever known, everyone she'd ever been, could be preserved with a single word. All she had to do was step away from Kira and let the inevitable happen. Instead, she moved to stand protectively in front of the alien woman she loved. No deal, Maya said clearly. Harrison's expression didn't change, but Maya caught a flicker of something like respect in her eyes. You understand what you're choosing? Prison time, complete social exile. Your life as you know it ends here. My life as I know it started here, Maya replied, taking Kira's hand. With her. The director studied them for a long moment, then spoke into her radio. All units, maintain perimeter, but do not engage. She looked back at Maya and Kira. You have 60 seconds to reach that ship before I change my mind. Maya stared in shock. What? Call it professional respect for someone willing to sacrifice everything for love, Harrison said dryly. Also call it plausible deniability. If anyone asks, you overpowered my agents and escaped. Elena was already moving, helping Maya support Kira toward a concealed elevator that rose into the hangar above. A sleek alien vessel waited, its engines already warming. As they reached the ship, Kira turned to Maya one final time. Come with me, she whispered. My people will welcome you. We can build a life together among the stars. Maya felt her heart breaking. I can't leave Earth. This is my world, my responsibility. Someone needs to stay and fight for the ones who will come after us. They kissed as the ship's boarding ramp lowered, tasting salt tears and the bittersweet flavor of goodbye. Kira pressed something into Maya's hand, a small device that pulsed with warm light. So you can find me again, Kira said. Someday, when the borders open again. Maya watched through tears as the ship lifted silently into the night sky, carrying the alien, woman she loved, toward freedom among distant stars. She stood there until the vessel disappeared completely, clutching the alien beacon against her chest like a promise. Director Harrison approached, her expression unreadable. Ms. Santos, you're under arrest for violating the Extraterrestrial Security Act. I know, Maya replied, never taking her eyes off the stars. As the handcuffs clicked around her wrists, Maya smiled. She had chosen love over safety, connection over comfort, and though it cost her everything familiar, she'd gained something infinitely more valuable. The knowledge that true love could bridge any distance, even the space between worlds. In her holding cell 3 hours later, Maya felt the alien beacon pulse gently against her palm, a rhythm like a heartbeat that whispered of reunion among the stars.